Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Night Haunts with your hosts, Dominic Ferrante and Wes Truth.
Good Wednesday evening, Thanksgiving Eve to everybody. This is Dominic Ferrante and Wes Troop here. You're listening to Night Haunts, the paranormal show where anything goes. Tonight we've got a real treat. We've got a great group on. Spirit Realm Investigative Project, also known as SRIP. You may know them from Paranormal Challenge when they did the USS Hornet. It's interesting, this is an all-female group. LeeAnna Jonas is the founder, lead investigator, and Tawny Heron is the tech manager, and Allison McNeil is the medium. They're out of Denver, Colorado, and they sent us some really cool EVPs that we can go over tonight. And as soon as they call in, we'll get the interview started. But how are you doing today, Wesley?
Well, it's almost Thanksgiving, so that's always a good thing.
Yes, we'll be eating like pigs and sleeping most of the rest of the day. You know, the tryptophan from the turkey just knocks you out.
The leading up to Thanksgiving isn't that much fun with my job, though. So.
Yeah, I know you work in retail, and it's pretty crazy. Starting to get to be a real crazy time of year for you. I know that's I feel sorry for anybody that's out there in retail.
Me too.
God bless you. You know, you guys do a great job. We're going to be talking, like I said, to Spirit Realm Investigative Project, and we can't wait to talk to them. They're a really cool group. You know what? One thing I want to ask them is if they run into any kind of bias, since they're in an all-female group. Do people kind of give them a, like a second look or something like that?
People may want them even more.
Well, that's true too. That's true too.
Bring on the girls.
Oh, you're so weird. But I'll tell you what though. I think a lot of times women can make the best investigators. I mean, Cindy, my wife, your mother. They does a great job, very intuitive about things and such like that. Well, I think we may have our guests on the line here. Let's see. Hi, this is Dominic.
Hey, Dominic, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Fine. Getting ready for Turkey Day tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, everybody is. Now, am I talking to LeeAnna here?
Yes, this is LeeAnna Jonas. Other two gals couldn't make it. My tech manager runs a barn for her family, and it's feeding time right now.
Oh.
So she's busy with the horses, and the other gal, she lives a little bit of ways, about an hour and a half away, and she's working at the moment. So they do send their love, and sorry that they couldn't make it.
That's great. I find I'm first of all, I'm really tickled to talk to you. We've followed your group for a little while now. You have some incredible experience. We have some great EVPs you sent, and we'll go through that later on. You were on Paranormal Challenge. You did the USS Hornet. That had to be an incredible experience. You were on My Ghost Story, and you've investigated some really cool places. Now, you guys kind of more focus on historical sites and businesses, right? And you also
Yeah, and the reason that is I don't think we're equipped to really help any residents who may run into something demonic or negative. We're all for doing the investigation and letting them know if there's anything there, but if it's something that's really out of control, we don't want to leave them high and dry to where we can't actually help them. I know there's a lot of teams out there that do have the resources. I do have an angel reader that works with us, but as far as anyone that can do any type of heavy-duty cleansing for possessions or exorcisms, I just am not equipped for that. I haven't found somebody that we trust as of yet.
Okay, yeah, that's very important to have something. I've been studying demonology for a while, and I've actually James Anito, who's a demonologist, is going to be a guest on our show in upcoming weeks.
Nice plug.
Yeah, I did. He actually came and helped us with one of our cases, and it is amazing. We're pretty lucky. We've got 2 mediums in our group that are very good at crossing and at cleansing. Our one medium is a Reiki master teacher, and she does a lot of really interesting energy work and stuff like that. And you know what I like about you is you come right off the bat and say, look, I don't think we're equipped to do this. I mean, we'll do an investigation, let you know what you have and stuff like that. And, but you're not going to sit there and try anything that could possibly make things worse.
Exactly. And we do have a medium on our team. She's a high priestess Wicca.
Oh,
but,
wow.
yeah, but the problem is she doesn't like to, dive into anything negative. Unfortunately, we had an experience with a location that will actually be in my ghost story, and the gentleman basically has a long-time possession from the entity in the jail, and it started to wreak havoc amongst our team. In fact, he kind of followed one of my gals home, Tawny, and we had to cleanse the living crap out of her. And he just seems to kind of sift back into our little group. So we've kind of already been up against that. And until we can get rid of him, we don't want to add any more to it. So, yes, I highly agree with you. If you are equipped and you can help these folks in a residential setting, go for it. We just don't happen to have those resources, and we just don't want to hurt anybody. Like you said, you don't want to make things worse.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's very incredibly responsible of your group. With the popularity of some of the shows that are on television, Ghost Adventures being one of them, that provoke. You don't want to leave somebody worse off than when you walked in.
Right.
And I know that you guys are really, really against provoking.
Yes.
So how did that go with, meeting Zach Bagans and the rest of the gang there? He is a known provoker, and was there any friction at all, or
No, actually, to tell you the truth, and Zach had brought us aside, and he said, "Look, these were men and women that fought for our country, and I don't want you guys to provoke." He said, "I don't want you to be disrespectful," and I said, "Well, you don't have to worry about that because we don't run it that way. We don't believe in it." Now, whether he said something different to the other team, I don't know, because they were more provokers. If you watch the show, they were a little bit harsher with the spirits. So I don't know if that was a game plan, one team against the other to show two different aspects, but as far as I can honestly say, Zach did ask us not to provoke.
Well, that's good. I'm glad, especially when you're talking about a military vessel that was inhabited by people that were fighting for our country and everything like that. That had to be a huge undertaking. Now, they say that you guys investigate, I just, for a couple hours and then you switch places and 2 hours like that. Was it actually 2 hours, or did you guys do actually more than?
No, it was about 2 hours, and I wish we would have had more time because actually what people don't understand is, they go around, they show you the areas, and then you flip a coin for who's going to take what side of the boat. And we decided on the side that we took, and it's rushed. It's very rushed because they basically want you to hit all the historical rooms that they take you through in the beginning and explain the history and what's happened in this area. So really, in all actuality, you're supposed to hit all those rooms, and you really can't, because if you've got a hot room to where you're actually making communication, you don't want to give that up and keep on going. But then you've got Zach on the walkie-talkie saying, "Hey guys, you only got 20 minutes left," and you're like, "Oh my God, I got all these other rooms I got to hit and I haven't done it." So believe it or not, it's very stressful and very quick. You do not get the time that you really should, and you're very tensed up because you know that you've got to make communication as quickly as possible with as many and go through all the different rooms. And then as far as doing your actual evidence review, that was even worse. I mean, 4 hours is nothing when you've got over 16 hours of both audio and video, as you well know as a team,
Oh yeah, it's incredible because we have a fairly large team, and I mean we're running at least I would say 8 recorders, 8 digital voice recorders at a time sometimes. And, when you're doing that, and if you're at an investigation for 7 hours, that's a lot of listening to. And I have to here give a plug to my wife who does a lot of the evidence review. It's amazing how in-depth it is. You've done some really cool investigations besides the USS Hornet. Doc Holliday's casino. Is it the Gilpin County Courthouse and Jail?
Yeah, the Gilpin County Courthouse and Jail actually be on my ghost story.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yep. And since we're plugging, we will be on my ghost story also. We're just waiting for word when it's going to be on.
And believe it or not, I don't know if you know this, if your wife told you, that you guys were there the exact same time we were.
Oh man, that would.
Yeah, were you guys like July 12th?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, right around that. Yeah.
Yeah, we were there. We got there on the 11th, and we did filming on the 12th.
Yes, we did too, and we came home on the 13th.
Yeah, and we stayed an extra day because the guy I was with footed the bill and said, "Let's stay another day." So we stayed another day. But yeah, you guys were. I think you guys shot in the morning and we shot at night. So we were in the same hotel and everything at the same time.
Oh, that's too bad. If I would have known, because we've met a couple other groups that were there. That would have been nice to get together and.
It would have been, yeah.
And compare notes and stuff like that.
Exactly. We don't have a date either. I talked to Izzy, and he said that it would probably be towards the end of the season, so we're looking towards the end of their season, which I don't know if they do a 20-episode season or not. I would imagine somewhere after January, because we want to have a viewing party for the town that we actually do all our investigations in and where this is actually at. The folks want to see it, so I kind of want a heads up for that to get that planned.
Yeah, and they said they would give us like a week's notice or something.
Yeah, a week.
Yeah.
Not enough.
No, it's not. We've had some, like I said, you're an all-girl team,
Right.
And I don't think I've interviewed an all-girl team before. If I have and I don't remember, I apologize to whatever group I'm slighting. But do you find that helps you, or does it hinder you in any way? I mean, and I'm just talking about bias, like.
As far as the paranormal community, I don't think that it's supported enough. Because I don't think the majority of folks think that 3 women can handle going into a haunted location and handle anything that comes their way. Unfortunately, that is the case with the mindset out there. But no, actually, believe it or not, spirits tend to feel comfortable with us. There's 2 moms. Tawny's not a mom yet, but it just seems like the children, especially where we go in the mining towns, there's a lot of children that died. There's a lot of women that died who were prostitutes and worked in the bordellos. And we just seem that we connect with them better because they don't feel that we're a threat to them. And the way we come off, and of course we don't provoke, but for some reason it seems to bring them out. We've never really hit a location that we have not made contact. There was one location that we did go in 3 times, and the 3rd time, I believe, not much was going on. And that's probably the only time that's happened to us. But, no, I find that we work well together, the 3 of us. I've never worked in a big group. I have to give you kudos on being able to do that because, as you well know, you have different personalities. And some days that works well and some days it doesn't. With women, it's a little different because women are more sensitive and can tend to get, a little cross or into fights or mood swings or what have you. And I find the men are a lot more laid back. So as far as that particular end goes, is a little difficult sometimes if someone's in a bad mood or what have you. But for the most part, it works well for us, and we're sticking to it. We've had a lot of men that have wanted to join our team. We have had guys that have come along that live in that town and are associated with the location, and we feel comfortable with them and trust them enough to have them come with us. But for the most part, it's just us 3 girls, and it just seems to work for us.
Well, that's great. That's great because I think a lot of times women in the field, in a field like this, sometimes will get shortchanged in the respect department.
Oh, you got that right.
And I think it's a shame because some of the best investigators I know are women. The women in our team, my wife Cindy Harner, Amy, they're all fantastic. It's amazing that you'd think that this day and age in 2012 we're going back to where it was almost like in the 1900s in this field, and that's I don't understand that because women, I think, like you said, with children's spirits, and other women's spirits that were under duress from men, I think would be more willing to communicate to a woman and everything, and be able to relate better, I think.
Well, and I agree. And there's one location that you brought up earlier, Doc Holliday's Casino. There was a little boy that we had run into, and, he was tugging on the teammate's pants, like very low. And I'm like, well, that's kind of weird. You're getting a tug that low. And I said, maybe it's a child, because we had heard there was a little boy. They thought he was a little boy that used to run around the place, and whenever they blew up balloons, he'd pop them, and then they decided to leave him a red one, and he never popped them again, and that red balloon would be found every morning somewhere else in that casino. So he played with it. So I told him, I said, honey, if you're here and you're stuck, I said, you got to tell me, and I'll see if I can get you to your mommy. And because we do work with an angel reader, we do crossovers. And I said, but you have to tell me, because I won't pressure any spirit into leaving if they don't want to. And I got an EVP that said, I'm here. And so I left him a red ball, and I said, this is for you to play with, and I promise I'll be back. 3 months later, that's when I met my angel reader that I trust, and she works in that town also. And but she didn't know the history of that particular spirit. So she said, yeah, let's do it. Let's go in. And it took us a couple hours because he kept on darting around, and he just didn't really want it. He was afraid of her. And we finally got in this one area, and we were up on a stage, and she said, talk to him. And I told him, I told you to be back. Don't be afraid. And we did cross him over. We do have that on our YouTube channel. And as we were walking through, you can see the light anomaly zipping around, especially on stage. Two of them almost ran into each other, so we had validation that we were surrounded. But we did cross him over. And it was just the fact that I felt that I was a mom and that he felt comfortable, and I left him a present. I always leave children presents if I can. I leave them toys to play with.
Well, that's wonderful. That's a great idea. One thing I had a guest on. This was a while back. He's a born again Christian paranormal type of person, and I don't know if I want to use the word investigator or not. And I like the guy a lot. I'm not gonna mention his name, but he believes that all intelligent hauntings are demonic.
Oh, I don't believe that.
He said.
Is that Kirby Robinson you're talking about?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't think he'd mind me saying his name is Pastor Michael Frisbee.
Mhm.
And I really enjoy talking to the guy. I mean, because he and I are on such opposite ends of the spectrum that we have very good debates. And I respect his opinion, but I respectfully disagree with his opinion.
I agree with you on that one.
Now, there have been instances that we have run into children's spirits, or seemingly they were children's spirits, but they actually weren't, that they were actually some other type of entity that took manifested into children to gain trust and to get pity and everything like that, and it's happened more than once in our group.
And I agree with you on that, and I've heard of that. It's just that, this location, I can almost guarantee you, because so many children died of scarlet fever in this town. There's so many. I believe that there are a lot of children there. But yes, on your end, I do agree with you on that.
Okay, yeah, it's. You wonder because, it depends on. See, my background is, I was born and raised Catholic, and I still follow most of the Catholic tenets, but I think I've got a little bit broader mind. I don't believe that, like you said, the other member of your group is a Wiccan high priestess. Okay, I'm not saying she's condemned because she doesn't believe. It's I believe there's room for every religion, every belief, and just because you don't believe the same way. By the way, I think Wicca is a fascinatingly beautiful religion, and I've read quite a bit about it, and I really like it. I wouldn't go so far as to call myself a pagan or anything like that, because I still believe in the basic Catholic beliefs. But I don't think that there's I think there's room enough for everybody. I think.
Well, yeah, I agree, and I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
Allie is Wicca, but she does believe in God. She does believe in a higher power. And one thing about the Wicca religion is they're all about light and love.
Right.
So when we cross someone over, she loves that.
That's where they get the bad name. I mean, they get a bad rap because people think when they hear Wicca and somebody says they're a witch or something like that, it's automatically negatively thought of.
Right.
It's automatic. And if you know anything about Wicca or paganism or anything like that, what happens is that, supposedly what you do comes back at you.
Exactly.
So if you're doing nasty things are going to come back at you.
Well, that's karma. That's totally karma. Yeah. Mhm.
And it's amazing. So let's go over to your EVPs that we got.
Okay.
You sent us some really interesting ones.
Well, you might have to turn a couple up because a lot of them are raw from that weren't amplified that I sent you because you guys had to use MP3s instead of anything that's been put through, an amplification file. So hopefully you can hear them.
I hope so. The first one I've got says boo. Now
boo. Okay. Let me set that one up. That was at the Gilpin County Jail. That will probably be on my ghost story. And that was actually pretty funny because this spirit actually had a sense of humor. Unfortunately, we were in this one room that a woman saw a face. She was working and turned around and saw a face staring at her. She quit, ran down the steps. And when we went up there, it felt very heavy, and Allie kept on getting touched. Touch, and it was creeping her out because they just would not leave her alone. And I don't know if this part I think it has the beginning of when she's talking about being touched. And I said, all right, switch up the cameras because she had the camera and she was shaking because she got a really weird feeling from it. Right. And then at the very end, it said boo to us, which I found, I couldn't believe my ears. I'm like, really? A real ghost telling us boo. So that was the first time that's ever happened.
Okay, yeah, this one is a little bit of a longer clip. It's 24 seconds, so it's probably got the setup for it. So.
It's got the setup, and then the booze at the very end, yes.
Right, never mind. Did you touch my back? Nope. Something really hard touched my back. Not me.
All right, Connie.
Look at my back, make sure there's nothing on it. Oh, boy.
Do you want to take the camera from her?
Yep.
All right, why don't you guys switch it up?
It's okay. Okay, that was you that time.
That's so cool.
It was hilarious when I heard it. I'm like, I had to keep on replaying. I'm like, no way. So, even though it was messing with her, it was comical, which we thought that was great,
Probably one that's just likes to play a lot
mischief.
Of tricks.
Yeah, exactly.
The next one I have is I can only see one.
Okay. Now, that was on the second floor of the courthouse. We were told a lot of furniture gets moved around there, and we actually picked up shadow figures, which will also be in my ghost story. Unfortunately, this is only the part that I was going to amplify of the actual EVP, so you don't hear the beginning of it where I say, are there any spirits here? And this is the response to that question.
Okay.
And that one you have to turn up. So. I don't know if you could hear that.
Let me play it again.
Okay.
I heard it.
I can see only one.
Yep.
And that was the response. Are there any spirits here? And I believe it's a woman, and she says, I can see only one. So that was cool.
And you know what's interesting about that? I wonder if she meant herself.
Could have
or
been.
If there was another one there with her.
Or that's all she could see, and there could have been more. I mean, who knows what dimension they're on if they can see each other.
Right. I honestly do believe that spirits will exist on different planes and may not even interact with each other depending on what plane they're on.
Right.
That's you get kind of start talking about the metaphysical and stuff like that, and even in like Buddhist and Hindu where you ascend different levels.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I kind of believe that. I think that's part of the afterlife, is that who knows what's waiting for us next on the next level,
Right. And none of us are going to know until it happens.
Yeah, and hopefully it's not going to happen for another 60 years for me, so.
Let's hope not.
All right. The next one I got is I Don't Want You Here.
Okay. Now, this was at a location called the Mountain Menagerie. It's a store front. It used to actually house a gentleman who was into mining, and he died of an explosion in the basement of this location because he used to tinker around with his dynamite. And also, this is a location where where I met our angel reader, she worked weekends doing readings for people, and she actually crossed over a couple children that she ran into, and she actually saw them because she could actually see some apparitions and see the actual spirits. But this was on the 4th floor, and not many people go up there. And we had just walked in, and the millimeter spiked at a 0.3, and then you hear, I don't know if you want me to say it first or not, but you did. You just said it. I don't want you here, and it's kind of a creepy voice, actually.
All right, that's cool. Let's hear it.
Okay.
An office area here, 0.3.
Oh.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, that was a wicked voice there.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if you want to play it again, but yeah, I don't want you here. Just like that.
An office area here, 0.3.
Boy, that, you know what? I swear to God, when I hear that, I get chills because it sounds like the voice in The Exorcist.
Oh, God.
It honestly did to me, when Reagan's in here.
Well,
that thing, it's freaky.
It is, and the people that work there, they never go up to the 4th floor except for the maintenance guy, which he's kind of borderline skeptic believer because he's a cop, and cops see a lot of things, but the ladies that run it downstairs, when they saw that on YouTube, because actually I picked it up on the video camera and an audio at the same time, and they were just like, they flipped. They did not want to go up there again. That scared the living crap out of them, and I'm like, I'm sorry, because when we do an investigation, we will, whatever evidence we have, we put it on a CD and we give it to them because it's theirs. Nobody ever charges us. We don't charge anyone. Don't believe in it, and it's just a present to them to say thanks for letting us come in. So we always give them a copy of whatever we find.
Yep. These. I'm really enjoying the EVPs that we've got. The next one we've got is a scream.
Yes. This is in the same location but downstairs, and we're just talking, and in the background you can hear a blood-curdling scream.
Okay, let's see what we've got here. Well, that one was a little staticky, but let's see if we can get it again.
Okay.
The scream.
Yeah, I can hear
you
the
can
scream.
hear.
Did you hear it?
Yep.
Yeah, and that is very it's disturbing.
It's like someone being murdered.
Yeah.
Yeah, or something crazy like that.
Yeah, it sounds terrible.
It does. We're talking about EVPs, and you were talking about the Boo one. We had just had an investigation where we had the most incredible EVP activity I've ever seen in my life. we actually were able to clip from a private residence 109 EVPs.
Wow.
And we threw out 200 more.
Wow.
Because they weren't clear enough.
Right.
But you were talking about how the ghost with the sense of humor. We had the three funniest EVPs I've ever heard. One was just, you hear a voice out of nowhere go, marijuana. Like that. And then we had, you're wrecking the party.
Oh, no.
And then we got another one, so, and pardon me for this one, is get ready for a fart.
Yeah, those guys are pretty comical, that's for sure.
It's funny because we were also getting Native American type chanting and stuff like that. We were getting Pennsylvania Dutch. We were getting German because the property that it's a newer home, but it's on property that had houses on it since the late 1700s.
Wow. And
their backyard actually backs right up into a graveyard where we were seeing, the death dates of like 1830 and stuff like that. So it was a really cool place, a lot of fun. But you got some great EVPs here. The next one is What You Got, Melanie?
Okay, this is in the same location, and here's a child, and it's clear as day. And we were just sitting there putting our gear together because what we do is we do a full investigation, then we set up our DVR, IR cameras in the hot spots, and then we let them roll for an hour as we leave the location and sit outside to give them a chance to come around if they want to. So this one is it sounds like a little boy, and it says, "What you got, Melanie?"
Okay. Wow.
Isn't that great?
That is.
That's
Class
awesome.
A there, baby.
I'll tell you, that is. Wow, that's amazing.
I know.
You know what I find really interesting, and I've brought this up before, so shut up, Leslie. He's always telling me you bring up the same things. But a lot of the shows that are on will say, we got this Class A EVP, and they play it, and they even subtitle it, and you're sitting there going, what?
Yeah, I know.
Now there is no mistaking that. There is absolutely no mistaking that.
And one thing about us is we don't even put any kind of EVPs out there unless they're Class A or you can understand them. And another thing our team does, and I know with the guys in Ghost Adventures, they use short play on their recorders. We don't. We use the high quality. We might miss out on some stuff because of the megahertz, because I guess they say the SP setting will pick up stuff, but then you're getting stuff to where you're really guessing, or you have to really crank it up to understand what it's saying. So that's we've found we've had good luck with the other settings. So our HQ is high quality. That's what we use. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's basically what we use, and we use no filtering or anything on our EVPs.
No, neither do we.
The only thing we will do is boost the gain sometimes.
Exactly, that's what and usually it's when I run it through my audio, and then I'll just boost it where that EVP is to amplify it. Because as you well know, a lot of them's whispers, because that's by the time they get to our realm, or however you want to say, the megahertz or whatever, it might be yelling on their end, but when they come over, it's whispers to us. So so you have to boost it sometimes, but for the most part, we get really good EVPs. We are lucky in that way. What audio program do you use? I don't use Audacity. I just use Editor off of Windows is all I use.
Oh, really?
Yep.
We use WavePad, and we really like that.
Well, Wave is what I don't use the Sony. I've got one Sony recorder, a red one, that they don't even sell anymore. And all the rest are the RCA, cheapo RCAs that I try to keep all of our recorders the same so we all know how to use all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had excellent luck. We've just, we don't go out and buy the super duder $100 jobs, the Sony Elites or whatever, or the
Right.
Olympus. We just use the RCA, and it's got the built-in slider USB port in the back.
Right.
So that works with that also as far as downloading. But no, I don't really go into too much technical stuff. I mean, I amplify it, cut it down, and then I piece it together. I run it through Windows Movie Player so that I can piece it as a video to put it on for our on YouTube. But
right.
I don't really.
We have some Olympus recorders that we use. These are fairly inexpensive. They're like $35.
Yeah.
And they are the greatest recorders.
Yeah.
I mean, I've went out and I bought a Zoom. I've got a real-time recorder, real-time EVP, and we don't even really use them anymore because they're so hard to pull things off. And if you're using the real-time recorder, and even if you have it at the shortest delay, it kind of throws you off as you're asking questions because you're hearing yourself ask the question again, and then other people are talking, and it's kind of echoing and echoing and echoing. So it's kind of unfortunately a waste of money. I'd love to trade it for another millimeter with the K2 on it or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we find since there's only 3 of us, we're loaded with gear. I mean, Tawny's usually videotaping because we want to make sure we capture anything on camera, and Allie and I are mostly doing the investigation, but Tawny will swap off between the two of them because I'm the lead. But here sometimes I'm holding a recorder, I've got a millimeter, I've got maybe a K2 on, whatever I got on me, and it's like, oh my God, there's so much stuff. So I need something easy. I need something that I can turn on in the dark, or I can do whatever I need to do in the dark. So I try not to buy anything that's too crazy and has too much gadgetry to it.
Right.
And so the recorders we use are real simple.
Yeah, and I think you get the best results too.
I do too. We have. I can't complain.
Well, yeah, you've gotten some great ones. We've got one last one here. And it says, where is the, and then that's it.
Okay, so we finally figured out what it said. It's saying, where's the stairs? And this is back in the Gilpin County Jail that's going to be in my ghost story. And we always do our pre-interviews with our clients, and we tape it. We want to learn as much history and as much activity as they've got going on. And, in all actuality, we do film just like we were doing a show. We do the whole 9 yards. So we're walking around with this gentleman, and earlier when we got up to the second floor, we heard a door slam. And I said, okay, well, we'll check that out later. We need to film what's going on in this room, because it wasn't during the investigation. So we had come around the corner, and I said it sounded like the door was slammed here. And Tawny says, no, I think it was downstairs. And then we get a voice that says, where's the stairs? So that can only tell me that in their dimension they can't see those steps. Because the guy's actually, the spirit, it sounds like a male, is saying, where's the stairs? So maybe he can't see them.
Let's see this.
Okay.
Or, well, let's hear this, not...
Okay.
Did you girls hear a door shut? Oh, it was downstairs?
And this is administrative offices.
Well, yeah.
Did you hear him say, where's the stairs?
Yep.
Yep.
It certainly did. That was very interesting. And we've got a lot of people in the chat tonight listening too. So hopefully they're. Shout out to John and Drew and Pat and Amy and the rest of the gang and that we all know. Let's see here. If you want, you were talking about your YouTube channel and everything like that. Anything you want to plug, go right ahead. Do you have any events coming up or or things going on that you want the public to know about, or?
Well, yeah, we did do a documentary it was last summer that should be out. I'll know the name of it pretty soon, and I will put that on our Facebook website about the actual town and some of the haunts there. We just got through doing some filming for a documentary. I can't tell you the details because the gentleman's still trying to get it in order in a grant through Sundance Film Festival. So we partaked in that. We've had a few articles done on us about the actual town that we work with here in Denver and up in the mountains. And pretty soon we are working with the Paranormal Witness people for Sci-Fi Channel. So we may be doing 2 locations, 2 episodes there in the town that we work in also. Our YouTube channel, it's SRIP3. If you go on our Facebook site, right underneath at the top where it says About, there is a link. That does have most of our EVPs and our actual footage. I try to piece it together like a little storytelling video so people know exactly what they're looking for and what had happened to set it up. And they can see that there. Because Facebook is really giving us a hassle. Every time we put up a video, they say we're copywriting, and I'm like, hello, it's my stuff. I videotaped it. So we're starting to just keep everything on our YouTube site. And then, like I said, my ghost story is coming up. So we're just plugging away. We will be doing an investigation next month back in the town that we work in. And just so people will know, the place that we go to, we're very lucky and fortunate because we get to go and meet the same spirits. Believe it or not, they follow us to different locations. I've had 2 of them that even follow me to outside locations. So they're kind of part of me, I guess, or they just like to go with us. I don't know. But what is cool about it is we're building stories of these people. They'll come around and tell us something more, or we'll dig deeper in history and find out more about them. Because it's a mining town, there was so much that happened. So it's so cool that we've done almost in one little town 17 locations, in another 5, and then there's another town that's lower to Denver area, which was a stopping ground for the people on the trains that went up in the mountains, and that is very highly active also. So it's kind of like we're the home team, and they trust us. The spirits trust us. We don't provoke. We try to cross over. So we have a mutual trust between us and them.
Well, that's great. I love the idea of the non-provoking, and I also like the idea of you helping people to cross if they want to cross. Sometimes, it's interesting. With residential places, your first priority is the client.
Right.
Okay. But you also have to kind of protect the spirits also. And we've run into problems where we get activity and we want this out. And we know it's nothing evil in the house, nothing malevolent. It may be somebody that, like I've said before, Wesley, shut up. I don't need any more comments from you. But I've said this before often. It's like if somebody is in a house and there's a spirit there, who knows? Maybe the spirit, built the house and raised their family and their grandkids there and ended up dying in the house. And who's to say that's not their idea of heaven? That might have been their favorite place, their favorite times of their life there, and maybe that's their heaven, And you get a client that says, "Well, I want you to cross this over," and it's tough because with free will extends to, I believe, spirits also.
Yes.
At least human spirits. Free will. So if they don't want to go, they don't have to go. But I almost hate trying to cross somebody that, thinks that they're just, that it's just because the people don't understand. That's why we try to educate. And when we go and with the two mediums that we have, Amy and Cindy, they're incredible, because I've watched both of them say stuff to people and their mouth just drop, just absolutely drop. And and when I met them, they said that I've got a little bit of this in me, and I just don't know what I'm doing with it yet. And it's weird, because it's starting to come on more and more as I hang around them, and they're great teachers for me. But it's funny. Our last investigation, we were able to cross a young woman over who was very bitter, very angry, and I won't go into the specifics why, but we ended up getting her to cross, and that's the first time I ever sat there and did it myself. And
I've been starting to do the same thing.
And it was the most phenomenal feeling in the world, knowing, because as soon as she crossed, everybody, even the family that was there, felt the whole atmosphere of the house change.
Yeah. Well, when I first started this, working with crossing over, the angel reader that I work with, this lady's got a direct line to Archangel Michael, okay? And he has said, because she'll relay what he said, and she said, look, he said, look, you can't push anybody into crossing that doesn't want to. Like you said, free will. In fact, one of the investigations we did, we ended up in a home that nobody's ever investigated. It's been sitting there for 200 years, and a man had shot his wife and his child and left them there to rot for 47 days before they were found. And during the investigation, it felt like something went inside. I don't know if you've ever been kind of possessed. I have, to where they just walk right into you, and all I could do was cry. And I thought it was the mom, so I got the angel reader in there, and I said, I think we need to help the mom and the child. I think they're still here. Well, she found out that it was actually the murderer, the man. And I said, well, why did he come into me like that? She goes, because he is remorseful, and he wanted you to feel his pain, because he's punishing himself. And we asked, and even though I didn't like what he did, I said, offer him to cross. And she did, and he refused. He said, no, I am not worthy. I'm going to stay here and be punished because of what I did, and he would not take the opportunity. Although there was a little girl spirit there from another family that we got to cross, so that was great, so it worked out. But, yes, you're right. People don't understand. They think if they have a spirit in there, they should be afraid. If the spirit is not hurting you or your children or any of your animals or whoever resides in the house, learn to live with them and cohabitate with them.
Well,
because
most of the time I find that spirits are very reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
That they, that you could say, hey, I don't mind you acting up, but can you wait till, we're all out of the house? Or, that type of thing. Or, that really does scare us. Will you stop doing that while we're around? And a lot of times that really does work.
Yeah. It's a tricky situation when you're getting into that, but, I get a lot of flack from other teams. They're like, we don't believe in that. You shouldn't be messing around with that. Well, I don't believe in going and exploiting the spirits, provoking, getting evidence, and then leaving people high and dry, and leaving the spirits high and dry.
Right.
That is so disrespectful to them, to get them to communicate with you just so you can get evidence, and then you leave, especially if they want help. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, like we say, our first responsibility is to the client, and a very close second is to the spirits that are there. A lot of times the spirits have been there a heck of a lot longer than the client has.
Well, yeah, they have the right. It's their place. Or even the ones, that have been buried, and then they plop a house on top of their grave. Right. It's like, hello, this is my spot. I was put to rest here, and you're sitting on my spot. I don't think people, and I just did a during the Halloween, they had a creepy crawl up in Central City where we go, the Historical Society, and I spoke at one of the casinos for the high rollers and the VIP folk, and I'm just like, folks, think about this. These were people, too. These were your grandmother. This was your aunt. This was your great-grandfather. These were people. Don't disrespect them. You know?
Exactly.
They're just as lost. Some of them don't even know they're dead. I mean, I've even had ones that I've asked, and they've responded. They did not know they're dead. You know? Believe it or not.
Yeah. A lot of people are like that. They don't realize that they've passed.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you, LeeAnna, it's been absolutely incredible talking to you. Spirit Realm Investigative Project, SRIP, they're out of Denver, Colorado. They were on Ghost Adventures. They're going to be on Ghost Detectives. They're going to be taking over the world as we know it. I really appreciate you taking the time. I've got about we got about 3 or 4 minutes left, and you know, it's amazing that how fast things go when
you're having fun.
Well, yeah, when you're talking about things that you really like, and you get good stories and great EVPs and stuff. I want to wish you and your family a happy Thanksgiving and your whole team, and continued success. And I want to thank you very much for calling in and being a guest tonight. It's I know Thanksgiving Eve is sometimes a little tough to get people to do stuff, but I really appreciate the you know, the effort and everything like that. So.
Well, thank you for having me. I want to say to anyone who is listening in the chat, thanks a lot. Please go to our website or our Facebook site, Spirit Realm Investigative Project, and like our page. Show some support for us girls. We would really appreciate it. And check out our evidence and look for us on My Ghost Story. You can Google us on USS Hornet and watch our episode. And I really do appreciate it, and I wish everybody a great Thanksgiving.
Okay, thank you very much, LeeAnna. You have a great night now.
You too.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Boy, what a nice guest. Yeah, very nice guest. And I've only got a few minutes left, and I wanted just to take like 2.5 minutes left. I wanted to say, first of all, happy Thanksgiving to everybody who's out there, and for the people that can't be with the people they love, you know, just... we know that we're all thinking about you, especially those of the service members that are overseas or away from their families at this time of year. It's very tough. I also want to thank everybody that was in the chat room, Drew, John, Patrick, Amy. You guys are all great. I am very blessed to have associates in the paranormal field like these people as friends and members of the NPA board of directors. Great group of guys and women that sit there and make the National Paranormal Alliance a success. If you have a group that thinks that you would like to join this group, go to nationalparanormalalliance.weebly.com. There's an application there, or go on to the Facebook page, National Paranormal Alliance. Also, don't forget, if you're having problems in your home or anything like that, Spirit Paranormal, please call us 610-223-8440, and or look us up on Facebook, Spirit Paranormal, or go to spiritparanormal.net, and you can get a hold of us. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I just want to say one thing. I'm very thankful for. I'm thankful for my lovely, wonderful wife, Cindy, and my great son, Wes, and I'm thankful for all the blessings I have gotten in my lifetime. Everybody.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Shut up, John. Well, guys, have a great day. We're ending the episode. Good night, everybody.